Back to another episode from myself, Chunk Danny. Episode 15, I believe this is, so we've come quite a long way. It's now into the second year of the account, and as you can see, we've made quite a lot of progress in the first year, and I'm looking forward to making more progress in the second year. So I've had these clips recorded for about 5 months now, some of them anyway. And I took a bit of a sabbatical from the game for a couple of months just while I was focusing on my mental health and my physical health. So it's good to be back, and you can see that I'm getting quick smithing levels. Now this is totally opposite from my smithing grind in Edgeville, which took me hundreds of hours. Getting from level 70 to 71 in Edgeville probably would have taken 50 hours plus, with the method I had before, which was mining silver, copper and bronze and smelting it. But now I can make upwards of 150,000 smithing XP per hour, which is amazing. So it's time to talk about why I'm at Giant's Foundry, what I can unlock here, what level I have to get to, and all of those things. So the Giant Foundry reward shop has quite a few unlocks in it. Now at the top there is the double ammo mode, Kovacs grog, ore packs and smithing catalysts. So the double ammo mode is the only thing in the entire shop that I would not need to get, because to use it I have to have completed the dwarf cannon quest, which I obviously cannot do. Kovacs grog is actually a saviour to my chunk because it gives you a +4 smithing boost. As I have access to rune and an anvil, I would need to make a rune plate body, which is 99 smithing, but as the Kovacs grog is here, it means I only have to get to 95. Well, I say only, I still have to get to 95. Smithing catalysts means you need to carry less coal in an inventory to be able to smith some metals, so this could be very handy in the future, but as we have loads of ore packs which actually carry loads of coal, it's sort of, you just probably go for the ore packs instead. Next we have the Smith's outfit. So this piece of equipment provides a 20% chance to increase the speed of a smithing action at an anvil. Each piece has 20%, and then once you have the full set you get an extra 20%, so you're 100% faster at smithing an anvil, which essentially doubles your smithing experience when you're at an anvil. So it's pretty good. As we scroll further down, we have the Colossal Blade, which is a high strength and high accuracy weapon, two-handed. This is going to be amazing for me moving forwards, as potentially grinds like Scurrius and things like that will be very beneficial for me to have a weapon that can hit high and is accurate. Then underneath the Colossal Blade we have all of these molds which allow us to create more complicated or better quality swords, which ultimately will give us more points. So I will be unlocking everything in this shop. I'm not quite sure how much total points I would need to unlock everything, but all I know is that because I'm going to be here to level 95, I will have more than enough, and thousands probably left over. So the Giant's Foundry gives you a reward score for creating a sword of different levels using different metals. You get more points for higher metal, so if you're using rune, adamant, you're going to get way more points than if you're using iron or steel. Now obviously I don't have much access to adamant or rune, so the majority of stuff I'm going to be using is steel and mithril. And I'm getting these from the Al Kharid armor shops, which sell plate legs, and there's a shop next to it which sells plate skirts. So I'm having to hopscape through those shops, spending my entire cash stack on armor, and then coming back to Giant's Foundry, turning that into swords for very fast XP and also a decent profit. Took 55 swords to get from level 70 to 75, and as I'm making mostly steel and mithril swords, I'd say we're getting between 10 to 12 swords an hour if you take out the time it takes to hop and buy all the materials. Yeah, we're getting about 10 to 12 swords an hour, which is roughly, probably I would say, more than 100,000 XP per hour, which is genuinely insane. So 10 to 12 into 55, it's taken us less than 5 hours, I would say, smithing to get from 70 to 75. Contrast that to 1 to 70, and that was about 600, 700 hours. I don't even know, but this is just going to show how insane the Giant's Foundry is. Level 76 smithing, and that took 11 swords completed. So again, less than an hour between level 75 and level 76. The progress here is genuinely amazing. I don't know if you remember in the previous video where I was weighing up whether I wanted to accept the Giant's Foundry or whether I wanted to just accept a free chunk. I think it's vindicated that I did choose the Giant's Foundry because I didn't want to be burdened with a ridiculously long grind, such as getting a rune bar from Briarfighter and having to mine loads of ore in Edgeville mine and then smelt it, and then that would have taken hundreds and hundreds of hours. So although this is a very high requirement, the time save on the XP is completely worth it in my opinion. I was doing a hopscape session running from Alcarid shops to the Alcarid bank, and they star spawned. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get my pickaxe, and then I saw my Stardust stack, and it is now 100k, so that is quite a cool milestone. So I think that's pretty cool, to be honest, all with a bronze and then mithril pickaxe, and it's quite insane at just how high the stack is now. The hopscape session is now complete, and in the bank we have no cash stack at all, and we have a lot of materials. So we have about 250 steel and about 135-ish mithril. In the previous clip I was buying adamant, and I realized that that is the quickest way of losing all your money. So you can make a profit on steel and mithril, but when I'm using adamant I lose a lot of money. So from here on out I'll be sticking purely to steel and mithril, as I've said previously, and staying completely away from adamant. It is not worth the extra money. You get more XP per sword, but you can make way less swords and you lose a lot of money. So yeah, a big level on the account. After 135 swords created, we have reached level 80. So 135 swords to get 10 smithing levels. And if we go on the same metric, say 10 to 12 swords an hour, let's just say 11, then that means we've basically spent about 12 hours here getting 10 levels. Currently have the smithing boots and the smithing gloves, and at level 80 we can unlock a new mold. So I chose to unlock the mods first because they give you more XP and more points per sword when you use the better molds. So I chose to use them and then get the smithing outfit afterwards. So level 81 smithing coming in, and it took 20 swords. So again, less than 2 hours to get from 80 to 81. That's an insane change from the entire history of the account. I've never been able to just spam out ridiculously high levels like this before. It's always been a slog. I can't really think of any examples really, except fletching maybe, where I've just been able to get ridiculous high XP and just motor towards my goals. And level 81 is the highest mold you can buy, so any points from this point onwards will be all going towards the smithing outfit as well as ore packs in the future, and the blade of course. So I actually missed the recording of me actually getting it, but we've just got the smith's tunic. So we have 3 of the 4 items. So currently if we were going to go smith an anvil, then we would be 60% faster than normal. So we've got 1 piece left, and so far 161 swords have been made, and we have unlocked every mold, and we have got 3 of the 4 smithing pieces. So another hopscape session has been completed, and this time we have 270 steel items as well as over 160 mithril items. So the totals are gradually rising each time we do a hopscape. So the money stack is going up, which means that we can spend longer actually in the Giant's Foundry instead of hopscaping each time. So after 197 sword completions, we have finally unlocked the final piece of the smithing outfit. So 197 swords is enough for the entire outfit, as well as every single mold that you can get in the store. I haven't bought any ore packs, and I haven't bought any catalyst or the colossal blade. So if we're doing 11 swords an hour, then I guess that's roughly what, 18 hours to do the entire thing, which isn't so bad compared to other outfits that you need to grind. So now is the time to buy the first ore pack on the account and a new collection log, which is always beautiful to see. And in these ore packs is the possibility of getting runite ore, which is the entire reason we have to get 95 smithing in the first place, because we have to make a rune plate body, and the only way I can get a rune ore is from these ore packs. So runite ore is actually very, very rare from these packs, so I'm going to have to open quite a fair few of them to get all of the runite items, runite ore I need for all the items I need to make, including rune knife, rune axe, rune plate body, rune mace, rune warhammer, rune crossbow, and all the other things I need to make. So I think I need about 13 runite bars in total, which means 13 runite ore from these ore packs. So allow me to introduce my helper for the day, ChatGPT, to help me calculate how many ore packs I would need to open in total and how many points I will need. So each runite ore has a chance of 30 over 1 in 357, which means that essentially you get 0.084 per pack. So quite rare. So as we need around 13, we would have to open 155 packs, and each pack costs 200 points, meaning we would need 31,000 points, which is more than all of the molds and all of the outfit put together. I have mentioned my friend Chunklius in essentially every YouTube video I have made, I'm pretty sure. He was stuck with me through Edgeville, he was also in Edgeville, and yeah, we spent a lot of our time on the accounts together talking and brainstorming and that sort of thing. So he has an announcement to make to the clan chat: attack 75, strength 80, defense 75, which is also a combat level. But he's not finished there, because then he gets level 80 mining, and then he gets level 75 smithing. Now you might think, now surely he must be done, but again, he isn't. So what's coming next is level 60 hunter, level 60 farming, and level 60 thieving, giving him a total level milestone as well of level 1325. He's still not finished with level 85 fletching and level 60 cooking, so this is genuinely insane. I think he's still going, yeah, cooking, and he's finished off with a 99. Chunklius has reached wood cutting level 99. So I think, now he was planning this for the longest time, and he was really, really careful that he didn't screw up, because if he'd chopped down a tree accidentally, if he'd misclicked, or if he'd clicked on a guard to attack him, he could have got a combat level. So it's been a couple months in the running, I'm pretty sure. He didn't have to do this for his chunk tasks, but it gave him something to work towards, and I think that's cool as hell. So 12 I've just seen in the CC. 12 different spams. Yeah, fair play, mate. That's insane. Congratulations. So the good thing about opening ore packs is you get adamant ore, mithril ore, and coal. So I can use these to make items, which gives me smithing XP, and then I can use those items in the Giant's Foundry itself. So that is pure profit. I think each sword gets you about 20 to 30k depending on the exact score. So each sword I'm making from the ore pack ingredients is giving me an extra 20 or 30,000 coins that I can then put towards even more items in the store in Al Kharid. And it's sort of this ever evolving loop of having way more resources each trip. Each trip is getting longer and longer, which means more time smithing, less time fanning around, hopscaping and buying stuff. And yeah, it's great. 249 swords have been completed, and with that we reach a big level of level 85. 85 is the milestone level. That means you can start runite ore, and you can start making rune items, starting with rune daggers. So we have 10 levels left until we've finished our smithing goal, because we need to get 95. But being able to make rune items on my chunk account is amazing. So again, 11 swords per hour. We're just going to stick with 11 swords per hour. That's roughly 24 hours to get from 70 to 85. I don't think that's too bad at all. We have spent a bunch of our Foundry reputation points on opening some ore packs. So this is the sort of thing you can expect from an ore pack. It's mostly coal, if I'm being honest. You get a bit of adamant, a bit of mithril, and quite a bit of iron, which is nice. But runite ore, exceedingly rare. We're still yet to get one on the account. Another level, 86 smithing now, giving us the level to be able to make a rune axe. This is huge. I have essentially been using a black axe my entire account. I have 97 woodcutting. So to get a rune axe, even this late, it's going to be so much faster. I'm so happy. So level 85 was 249 swords. 101 swords later at 350 is level 88. So the levels are starting to take a bit longer now, but still not too bad at all. We've essentially finished adamant. We can make every single adamant item in the game, as we have now unlocked the adamant plate body. So that's pretty cool. Another 4,500 reputation points spent on ore packs. So let's see if we can actually get any runite ore from any of these. The account total is still 0. Beautiful amounts of coal, and there we go. 3 runite ore. That's insane because they all came from the same pack, so that's probably really rare in itself. But that's really cool. Finally got some runite ore on the account, and 10 to go. On sword number 434, gives us a beautiful level milestone of level 90 smithing, giving us the level to be able to make a rune scimitar for ourselves, which is an amazing weapon to have. And I'm not sure many chunk accounts actually will have one of those, and we have 5 levels to go. So these last few levels will be quite slow. Well, when I say slow, I mean slow compared to the levels we were getting, but very, very, very fast compared to a level 90 skill that a normal chunk account would get. So it's all good. Opening some more ore packs. And we've opened quite a few between the last time I opened it and now. We've probably got about 6 or 7 smithing levels since then. So our runite ore stack is now up to 11. So we only need a couple more. Level 91 smithing, meaning we can now make rune longswords and also a runite crossbow, which is going to be amazing for our account. I'm also not sure many chunk accounts have a rune crossbow either. So 4 levels to go. Another roughly 6,000 reputation points worth of ore packs opening. We're still chasing some runite ore, so we're getting close to level 95 now. We still don't have all the runite ore we need, so I really don't want to go over. And from 6,000 points, we actually get 5 runite ore. So that is absolutely massive. That is now all of the runite ore I need moving forwards. So perfect. Now have all the runite ore that we need. We have made that all into runite bars, and we're going to go and create a lot of items that will complete some chunk tasks for me. So the first one is a rune sword. Next we have a rune scimitar, which is beautiful. We then have to make a rune mace, which is also another chunk task. We also have to make runite limbs, which is for our rune crossbow. We'll have to get the other parts for that later on. We then make some rune arrow tips. We have to make some rune knives as well, but we don't actually have the smithing level for that yet, so we'll have to come back for that. Completely forgot about the rune axe that we have to make, so that is now made as well. And the last thing we can make at our current level is an adamant plate body. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chunk tasks either completed or partially completed. We just have to do a couple of other things for the arrow tips and the runite limbs. But yeah, that's a massive dopamine boost right there. 538 swords gives us level 92 smithing, and then 598 swords gives us level 93 smithing, with now just 2 levels to go until we've reached our goal. So as another Hopscape session has now finished, you can see the materials in my bank compared to what I had before. We now have nearly 700 steel and we nearly have 400 mithril, along with adamant bars, steel bars and mithril bars left over in the bank. So the cash is absolutely wonderful. Level 94 smithing has come on sword completion number 666. We're now 1 level away. So here we are. The big moment is here to unlock all of my beautiful stuff. Starting with the double ammo mode, which I didn't actually realise at the time I can't get until I've completed the quest. So we're going to get Kovacs Grog, we're going to get the Colossal Blade, and then we're going to hand in our sword and finish on 737 sword completed, our goal of 95 smithing. That is genuinely amazing for me. I can make every single smithing item in the game, providing I have the materials. So with that being said, I am going to run up here to the anvil with an inventory full of rune bars. And the first thing I'm going to do is make some arrow tips, which I've just realised that I actually had already done and they're in the bank. But oh well. So rune arrows have been made. The next thing I am going to make is a rune warhammer, which is beautiful. Wield a rune hammer. Chunk task completed. The next thing I am going to do is wield the Colossal Blade, and that looks absolutely beautiful. Without further ado, drinking Kovacs Grog, I'm going to smith the level 99 requirement rune plate body. On my chunk account, I have made a rune plate body. On my main, which has about 180 days game time, I don't have this high of a smithing level. I think my smithing level is 88 or something. So the fact that I've got level 95 on my chunk account, considering level 1 to 70 was so bad and so slow, the fact that it's now 95, it's something I can be proud of, that I've actually stuck with and persevered through all of that. So I am now finished with Giant's Foundry. I have a bunch of reputation points left over for in the future when I either need some ore packs, or once many months in the future when I've completed the quest for the dwarf cannon, I can come back and get the double ammo mode straight away. So yeah, that's beautiful. There is one small thing we need to do before I can actually roll and finish this chunk, is I have to just get one range level. I need level 61 to be able to wield the rune crossbow, so I'm just going to stand here at thugs with my magic shortbow, and I'll just quickly grind that one level. And there we are, special attack to finish it off, and there we are, level 61 range, now having the requirement to be able to wield our own rune crossbow. So a looting bag full of nature runes and herbs, which is going to be beautiful down the line. But yeah, let's go make our rune crossbow, and I think we have to make a studded body as well, and then officially all of our chunk tasks have been completed. So yeah, use the limbs on the stock and then use the crossbow string on the crossbow, and there we have our very own rune crossbow on the chunk account, which is beautiful to see. So we have our leather body, we have our steel studs, and we just need to combine the two together to make a studded body. That is quite an anticlimactic finish to this chunk, but that is every task completed within the Giant's Foundry chunk. So let's have a talk about where we are going now. And I'm actually back at the Mage training arena, believe it or not, because it has been made aware to me that it is possible for me to use cosmic runes to get points, to then buy more cosmic runes with those points, and then just keep resetting. But each time I reset, I'll be able to buy slightly more cosmic runes than before. Each cosmic rune costs 5 points, and those little blocks in the corners with the enchantment spell I'm using give me 6 points, and the dragon stones give me 8 points. So each enchantment I do is profiting me. It's very slow and it's very tedious, and I had thought that the Mage Training Arena was going to be backlogged until I had access to a rune shop or access to a monster that drops them really commonly. This goes for all my runes, so even though I technically have access to cosmic runes, I'm still not actually able to progress any further in my chunk tasks. And this has been a bit of a dilemma for me mentally, in the sense that I'm standing in the Mage Training Arena for ages and ages doing something that I really don't enjoy, not actually progressing through my chunk tasks themselves. And yeah, I recorded this clip on the 1st of February, and to be honest, I just didn't want to log in. For the first time in my account, I didn't want to play the game, because in my head I finished all my tasks and I've backlogged the Mage Training Arena because I can't physically progress through them, because I need different types of runes, not just cosmic runes. So you can see on the screen that I've reset all my cosmic runes and I've got more than I had the last time I'd done it. But essentially, yeah, that's it. Now I think I've made it pretty clear since the start of my account, the start of Chunk Denny, that I'm not afraid to shy away from a long grind. And actually, I prefer the long grinds. Examples of this would be the 70 smithing grind I did in Edgeville. I could easily have said, nah, I'm not doing that. Mining for hundreds of hours, walking to and from the bank with 1 agility and taking about 20-30 minutes to mine an inventory of silver with a bronze pickaxe, all the way up to 70-80 smithing and mining. I could have said no, but I didn't. I like the chunk account, I like the gameplay, I like the account type. But I had no motivation to log in and grind towards the Mage Training Arena, knowing that I'd finished absolutely everything else, knowing that at the end of it, I still can't buy any of the pieces. I would have more points, but I don't see that as progress because it doesn't complete anything. So, as I've mentioned earlier in the video, I was having a really hard time in my personal life, mentally and physically, and the motivation to play this account just wasn't there anymore. It wasn't because the Mage Training was a really long grind, because I'm not willing to do it, because I am willing to do it, but my chunk rules state that I have to have access to the drops, so I don't have access to the lore runes and the nature runes. So personally, I made up a decision that each new chunk, provided I have, it's not a free chunk, so each chunk that I have to do tasks to complete, that I will reset all my cosmic runes once throughout that chunk. A bit of a compromise between constantly standing there doing cosmic runes and just backlogging it. So I will do it once per chunk, and essentially, yeah. So this account, this clip you're seeing now, is recorded a month and a half after the last one because I just didn't log in. I just wasn't interested. Focusing on my my personal life, and I didn't want to log into this game and have it feel like a burden to me and log in and dread playing it, because I don't even know if this is going to make sense, but it makes sense to me. And at the end of the day, it's my account, it's my rules. And I hope you can all understand the stance I've taken, because a few of you in the comments keep talking about me not doing the mage training arena, and like, I understand, I get it. I can physically get cosmic runes, but it doesn't progress my account any further forward other than having a higher mage level at this point. As soon as I have access to all of the runes, I will grind it out as per my chunk tasks, as per my chunk rules. But for now, I will do it once per chunk and no more. So as I spent all my points on cosmic runes, used all the cosmic runes and then repeated about 4 or 5 times, I'm going to count that as good enough to roll a new chunk. And then, presuming I get a chunk where I have to do some tasks and it's not just a free roll, I will then have to go back at some point during that chunk to do the cosmic runes again. So I will be making passive progress, but for now it's time to look forwards into the future of the account. So 42 out of 42 chunk tasks completed, including a Smithereen plate body, which is the standout task there. So looking at my chunk map, since rolling the Giant's Plateau, there is the task to the east, which is Sitherade Abbey. I think that's a free chunk. Interestingly, if we roll the Shantae Pass, we are only one roll away then from being able to do our Slayer task of cow fights. But essentially, we have the same rolling options as before, only with the Sitherade Abbey. South of Lumbridge, west of Lumbridge, north of Lumbridge, north of the Alcarid mine, east of all the places in Alcarid, as well as east of Varrock, south of Varrock, north of the Grand Exchange, north of Edgeville, Barbarian Village, the Monastery and the Ferox Enclave. And let's not forget the task of Soul Wars. So without further ado, I am going to roll 2 chunks and see what we get. So the 2 chunks that it rolled for me, Soul Wars and Sitherade Abbey. So there's 2 complete extremes. There's 1 free chunk with no tasks, and there's 1 chunk which has a high cooking requirement, being a shark. There's a pet, there's dragon drops, there's long grinds, and to be honest, this is the exact sort of thing that made me stop wanting to play my main account and play a chunk account. I wanted to be log in and not have to worry about picking and choosing which path I want to take. The whole point of a chunk account is you roll a chunk and you do the tasks it gives you. The reason I stopped playing my main Ironman, which is at 180 days plus game time, is because the fear of missing out made me not enjoy it. For example, if I went to kill Vorkath, then I would feel guilty that I was missing out on doing something else, or I would just not enjoy my time. And I think that's been a common theme across some of the people in the chunk community. The fear of choice gives you anxiety, which makes you not want to play the game or not enjoy the time you do spend on the game, which is why I've absolutely loved my chunk account, because it takes that away from you. You just have a set of tasks to do, and once you've done them, it gives you more. You're on a set path determined by the website. So the reason I'm making a decision to turn off roll 2 pick 1 is exactly this. Staying up at night, brainstorming at pros and cons. What am I going to do here? Am I going to enjoy this? Am I going to roll a bad chunk if I pick the free chunk? It happened with Giant's Foundry. This is not the reason I wanted to play this game mode. So, it's probably not a big deal to most of you, but to me, I'm going to let the website pick this role for me. And moving forwards, I'm going to turn off roll 2 pick 1 and just have one chunk, because to be honest, yeah, I do have ADHD. Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe it's the decision making, maybe it's the fear of missing out, maybe it's something else. But I just don't want to have to worry about the repercussions of picking a chunk over another chunk, that's the whole reason I got into this account, to avoid that sort of stuff. So yeah, let's see what it picks for me, I guess. So I actually rolled Sitherade Abbey for me. So this is my first chunk roll in over 3 months, and our new chunk has no tasks to do, so we're just going to quickly hop there in game, quickly check out the area, and then we'll go back to rolling a new chunk. So actually rolled Sitherade Abbey, my first chunk roll in over 3 months, and it looks like our new chunk has not got any tasks to do. So I'm just going to hop there in game, unlock the new chunk, and have a quick look around before rolling again. So Sitherade Abbey is east of the Giant's Foundry chunk, and there's not a lot to do here. There is a range, a log spawn, and a well, and also an altar, but that's about it, to be honest. You can see the Caridian Desert just to the south, but with no agility shortcut there is no way to actually access that. But yeah, that's essentially it. So that's our new chunk completed. As there was no tasks, I don't have to go and reset my cosmic runes, but let's go and see what we're going to roll next. So exactly the same choices as before. Unlocking Sitherade Abbey didn't actually give me any new potential chunks, so let's roll our chunk. And we've actually rolled Soul Wars, so that's actually kind of fitting, to be honest, because I had the choice between Soul Wars and Sitherade Abbey. It rolled me Sitherade Abbey, and then I rolled Soul Wars straight after, so maybe that was fate, maybe that was, I don't know, the game telling me that I made the right decision to turn off roll 2, and I was going to get both chunks that I rolled. But either way, we are now assigned a very long grind, and we will end this chunk with a cape, some new dragon armor, mossy keys. We actually have access to moss giants now, so that is a very good monster we can kill for both prayer XP and a lot of seed and herb drops. But let's go check out Soul Wars in game, and we'll have a quick run through of everything we need to do while we are there. So here we are on our way to the first time to Soul Wars. Now I've seen this portal my entire account history. It's always been there right from the start. I started in Edgeville. I've been woodcutting trees, woodcutting yews for the longest time, and this portal's always been there. It's always been sort of a reminder of what could potentially happen in the future. So the first thing we're going to do in our chunk is to unlock it on our actual OSRS map, just so it's nice and green and beautiful and accessible. The next thing we're going to do is just have a quick talk to Nomad, just to have a look what we can do, and he offers you a demonstration, a little tutorial, so I'm actually just going to leave that for now and just have a quick look around the chunk. So as you run south past the Soul Wars game itself, there is a little section of moss giants just down to the southeast, which is within our chunk borders. So this opens up the opportunity to get mossy keys. And as in the future at some point we'll have Briar Fighter, it might be worth just stocking up on some keys just to save myself some time later down the line. There is also a bank that we have access to here, and we can also use the minigame teleport option to Soul Wars, so we can get here nice and quickly. But I'm actually going to gear up and test out the new beautiful rune scimitar that I've got. I'm going to kill moss giants until I get my first mossy key, just so I can cross off a collection log and a chunk task just before we get into Soul Wars, because Soul Wars is going to be the crux of our time. So I'm just going to quickly get the mossy key out of the way, and we've actually got a long bone before our first mossy key. Now if you remember from the hill giants, the long bone is a 1 in 400 drop and the mossy key is a 1 in 150, so I didn't actually realise that the Mithril Spear, which is a chunk task, was obtained from the moss giants. So I've actually done my first chunk task of this chunk, which is obtain a Mithril Spear. So still waiting on the mossy key, but I'm sure it'll come along very soon. I was not expecting to be here very long, but we've got a whole defense level. Now 67 is our first defense level in actually a very long time. We haven't done actually much combat at all since the hill giant grind finished. Still waiting on the mossy key, but we're getting a dwarf weed seed, which is 1 in 1,900 drop chance. So I've got a long bone and a dwarf weed seed so far, and not a key. Kill number 300, and we still do not have the mossy key, so we're now double the drop rate. My second long bone before a key. I don't really understand what's going on. To be honest, I've always had a good drop rate of long bones on my account. I think that's my 40th or something now. So that'll be a nice construction XP in the future. I mean, I can't really complain because I'm getting good XP both in HP, prayer and defense. So that's level 73 hit point. Our third defense level, 66, 67 and now 68. All in the pursuit of one singular mossy key. And this latest moss giant has dropped me my third long bone. 407 kills, and I've got 0 keys, 3 long bones. What is going on? Like, do these moss giants not drop the keys? Do I have to do something first? Oh my god, mossy key. Finally, the beautiful collection log popping up at the top of the screen. 488 moss giants for 1 key. Bearing in mind a 1 in 150 drop rate, so we're automatically more than 3 times dry. We should have at least 3 keys by now if we were going on the drop rate. But to be honest guys, that is where I'm going to leave this video today. We've got a lot of progress done. We have the Giant's Foundry completed. We have smithed our own rune plate body. We've got 3 defense levels. We've got a range level, a hit points level, and a prayer level. Coming up in the future will be me tackling Soul Wars, how do I get the most zeal per hour, and hopefully there won't be such a long time in between videos. I really appreciate the support I've gained on all my videos so far, and I hope you all have a good day. Thank you.